Hello learners, welcome into our today's lesson. I am Teacher Kennedy of Greenview Schools, Kamulu. I'm going to take you through Agriculture, Grade 6 work. So today we are going to learn under the strand food production processes. And our substrand of today, we are going to learn about stewing. It is important for us to know the meaning of the word stewing. Stewing is simply a method of slow boiling of food or simmering. So I'll just write brief notes and then later on I'll give you the notes. I'll give you the notes later on to write. So stewing, as I've said, so stewing is a method of slow boiling of food, also known as simmering. And we also need to learn that the foods which are cooked through stewing, normally we tend to use a common liquid. And the liquid that is normally used frequently is water. And then once the food is served with the boiling liquid, once the food is ready, it needs to be served with the liquid itself. So the food once ready, as I've said, is served with the liquid. Then the food is served with the boiling liquid. That liquid is what is referred to as the stew. Then we also need to know the meaning of the word simmer. So to simmer simply means to cook under low heat until the food is ready. Then we also need to know some of the methods which are used in cooking. We have boiling, we have frying, we also have dry fat frying and deep frying. Of course, we have stewing, which we are learning today. Then, what are some of the foods that can be cooked by stewing? We have some of the foods, and you will realize that most of these foods, they are found in our locality. We have foods such as arrowroot, we have yams, we have meat, we have chicken, we have fish, we have green bananas, and finally we have Irish potatoes. There are also some other foods that can be stewed, which are not listed here. Such foods like even the sweet potatoes, among other foods. Then, when stewing, there are some equipments that we need to know. The equipment which are used in cooking when stewing. We may need such equipment like a sufuria, apart from sufuria, you may also use an earthen pot. You may also use a metallic pot, and also you may also use a saucepan, and then we also have a fitting lid. A fitting lid. Whenever you are using any of these equipment, be it a sufuria or an earthen pot, it must have a well-fitting lid. Then, when stewing, there are some safety measures that you need to put into consideration. The safety measures when cooking foods during stewing. The first safety measure, remember I said I'll give you the notes. The first one we have, you need to hold hot sufuria using a holder. So that is to avoid any burn or that is to avoid any injury. Also, in case of fire, you need to use a damp towel or a blanket. You may also use a fire extinguisher if in case it is in place to put the fire out. You may also need to leave, you need not to leave the food that is cooking unattended. Also, you need to switch off cooking equipment after use. You need also to be careful when opening sufuria lids when cooking to avoid scalds. You also need to remember to wash your hands before handling any food. You also need to ensure that the place where you are cooking is well ventilated. That is, it allows free flow of air. Another thing that you also need to consider, another safety measure that you also need to have in place is that you need not to spill the, for instance, if you are cooking vegetables, if you need not to spill the vegetables, let's say on the floor. You need not to spill, for instance, the banana leaves on the floor. That is to avoid any injury or any accident that may arise. So, learners, having said that, you need to consider these safety measures when stewing, and I want to believe that when we will be practicing, when we will be doing this practically, that is cooking food, because we will pick one of these foods that are mentioned in the chart. For instance, the green bananas. How can you stew green bananas? We will learn how to stew the green bananas. That is in our next class, and after that, you'll also be in a position to give some of the advantages and also the disadvantages of stewing as a method of cooking. So, in summary, you need to know as learners the meaning of stewing. You also need to know some of the foods which can be stewed. You also need to know the equipment which are used in stewing. You also need to know the safety measures when stewing. Having said that, learners, I'll give you a few questions so that you can do them. As I'm also going to send the notes in due course. Having said this, having learned about stewing, learners, I want you to try these questions. We have question 1, give the meaning of stewing. Number 2, mention any 3 equipments. Mention any 3 equipments used when stewing. Then 3, state 5 safety measures to consider when cooking food by stewing. That marks the end of our lesson for today, and I want to believe you have enjoyed the lesson, and I wish you a very nice time. You stay safe.